Welcome back to the Paper Pursuer. There's 2 more articles for the show notes for 1188, and we'll get started. This one is from the Washington Examiner. It's titled, Devin Nunes Vows to Expand Lawsuit Against Fusion GPS After Judge's Dismissal, by Jerry Dunleavy, February 22, 2020. Representative Devin Nunes vowed to expand his lawsuit against Fusion GPS on Saturday, a day after a federal court dismissed the California Republicans' racketeering conspiracy case against the opposition research firm. The judge gave the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee 30 days to file another amended complaint. Congressman Nunes is pleased that the court has granted him the opportunity to clarify and amplify the long history and pattern of obstruction by Fusion GPS, Nunes' lawyer Stephen Biss told the Washington Examiner. We have plenty of supplementary evidence to add to our filing, including ongoing examples of Fusion's malfeasance. Last September, Nunes filed his lawsuit against Fusion GPS, its founder Glenn Simpson, and the left-leaning watchdog group Campaign for Accountability, seeking $9.9 million in damages. Nunes told the court in an amended complaint in December that the ongoing and continuous racketeering activities by the defendants were part of a joint and systematic effort to impede, undermine, and ultimately to derail Nunes' congressional investigation into Russian interference. Nunes claimed the groups acted in concert to file fraudulent and retaliatory ethics complaints against him to harass and intimidate him, and to protect Simpson, Fusion GPS, and others from criminal referrals made to the Justice Department. Judge Liam O'Grady of the Eastern District of Virginia said on Friday the defendants raise significant questions and make meritorious arguments as to both of the sufficiency of the factual pleadings and the court's jurisdiction over these defendants. The judge said Nunes' amended complaint includes many rote statements of law and conclusory allegations which fall short of satisfying the pleading standard, and said that the legal claims were insufficient to support a substantive ruling on these issues. O'Grady ruled that Nunes' lawsuit was hereby dismissed without prejudice, but said Nunes had a month to try again, in accordance with the federal rules prohibiting frivolous lawsuits. Fusion GPS's lawyer did not respond to the Washington Examiner's request for comment. Daniel Stevens, the executive director for the Campaign for Accountability, told the Washington Examiner that we applaud the court's decision to dismiss this frivolous lawsuit, and claimed the allegations in the complaint were absolutely absurd. Attempts by Nunes to stifle critics through well-funded lawsuits is an affront to the First Amendment, Stevens said, adding, we are gratified that the court put an end to this nonsense. Nunes' amended complaint was filed just after the November release of a book by Fusion GPS's founders titled Crime in Progress, Inside the Steele Dossier and the Fusion GPS Investigation of Donald Trump, and the December release of DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz's report on Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, abuses. Horowitz identified at least 17 significant errors or omissions in the DOJ's and the FBI's use of British ex-spy Christopher Steele's salacious and unverified dossier when pursuing FISA warrants to wiretap Trump campaign associate Carter Page in 2016 and 2017. Simpson refused to speak with Horowitz's investigators. Defenders of the controversial House Intelligence Committee memo on alleged FISA abuses from February 2018, which also shed light on Fusion GPS, argue Horowitz's report shows the Republicans were almost entirely correct. Nunes told the court that this is a case without active, coordinated, and ongoing corruption, fraud, and obstruction of justice, which was now omitted in Fusion GPS's book and chronicled in the Justice Department Watchdog Report. The outright fabrications in the Steele dossier are the product of a joint collaborative effort between Steele and Fusion GPS. Steele and Fusion GPS, acting in concert, lied to the FBI and spread lurid and fake anecdotes in order to obstruct the FBI's Crossfire hurricane investigation, Nunes alleged. The fabrication of raw intelligence and the misrepresentation and concealment of information provided by sources is an ordinary part of Fusion GPS's criminal operations. Lawyers for the Campaign for Accountability countered the lawsuit. Plaintiff, a sitting congressman, has come before this court to argue that the submission of ethics complaints against him to the Office of Congressional Ethics is illegal. John McGavin, the lawyer for the Campaign for Accountability, told the court in a motion to dismiss in January. Masquerading an untimely defamation claim as an infirm RICO case, plaintiff has sought to criminalize lawful conduct. McGavin said Nunes implausibly alleges that the submission of 3 ethics complaints about him to the U.S. House of Representatives Office of Congressional Ethics violated RICO. The Republican lawmakers' lawsuit cited a Daily Caller article from August that revealed the Campaign for Accountability hired Fusion GPS as an independent contractor in 2018 and paid the firm close to $140,000 for research. Nunes described Fusion GPS as a political war room for hire that specializes in dirty tricks and smears, and the Campaign for Accountability was a dark money, partisan, left-wing nonprofit group targeting mainly conservatives. Fusion GPS was hired by Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Democratic National Committee in 2016 through the Perkins Coie law firm, and Fusion GPS in turn hired Steele, who made allegations regarding Trump and Russia. Mark Elias, a Perkins Coie lawyer and the Clinton campaign's general counsel, provided briefings to Clinton's campaign related to Fusion GPS's findings. Nellie Orr, the wife of high-ranking DOJ official Bruce Orr, was a contractor for Fusion in 2015 and 2016, and her Trump-Russia research was passed along by her husband to the Bureau. After Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report was released last April, Fusion GPS continued to insist that, to our knowledge, nothing in the Steele memoranda has been disproven. Nunes said Fusion GPS retaliated against him through the Campaign for Accountability, in part because of subpoenas he issued to the bank the opposition research firm used, which revealed that the Clinton campaign, the DNC, and Perkins Coie paid for Fusion GPS's anti-Trump research. The congressman claimed that corrupt acts of racketeering are part of Fusion GPS's regular way of doing business, and he said that way of doing business must end here and now. All right, so have one more article here, and it is a very short one. It is on the Washington Examiner site. It's titled Clarence Thomas' Wife Among Conservative Activists Leading Trump Efforts to Compile Deep State Hit List by Caitlin Yilek, February 23rd, 2020. Or Yilek. Sorry, Caitlin. The wife of conservative Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is spearheading an effort to remove officials suspected of undermining President Trump. A network of conservative activists led by Ginny Thomas is helping compile detailed memos of disloyal government officials they want fired, according to more than a dozen sources who spoke with Axios. Trump's distrust of people inside the White House and the federal government has intensified since his impeachment and acquittal. He thinks his government is filled with snakes. He wants fired and replaced. About time, jeez. The memos sent to Trump included former District of Columbia U.S. Attorney Jesse Liu, whose nomination for a top Treasury role was withdrawn. A source with knowledge of the document said Liu's alleged misdeeds included signing the sentencing filing, asking for jail time for Trump's former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, not charging former Deputy Director of the FBI Andrew McCabe, and not acting on criminal referrals of some Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's accusers. The memos, compiled over the last 18 months, also included suggestions of pro-Trump people to replace the current officials. Thomas recommended former Secret Service Dan Bongino for a Homeland Security or Counterterrorism Advisor role, Sheriff David Clark for a top Homeland Security role, and Republican California Representative Devin Nunes' aide Derek Harvey for the National Security Council. The Presidential Personnel Office determined that some of the potential candidates passed along were not suitable for the jobs. All right, and that's the last of the articles on the show notes for today. And thanks for listening, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.